out again. It's a redskin.
Hey guys, I can finally talk loud because I'm home alone and I'm not worried about my mom asking me what I'm doing. Yeah, I can finally talk loud. Okay. But hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm not quite sure when I'll post this. I just really wanted to make this video because I just thought it was very interesting. Also for anybody that is thinking about college or going to be applying to colleges, I just wanted to put this out there because for me, I definitely did not have an easy time choosing where I was going to go. And obviously everyone knows that the college process is a very difficult one, but mine was very extra, so I just wanted to talk about that. So just stick around to the end of the video because I feel like it's really interesting personally, how I went about choosing where I was going to go to college. But here's why I chose to go to ODU and my college decision process. So I feel like let's go like all the way back to the beginning of senior year, like September 2019. I had no specific college that I wanted to go to. My only requirements was that it was an HBCU. Like, I was, just like many black girls or black seniors, I was dead set on going to a HBCU. Just because I've been to a PWI for the last 4 years and I realized that that is not for me. Like, that is not for me whatsoever. So, I really wanted to go to the HBCU, but to be honest, if I had to not go to one for financial reasons or for any reason whatsoever, I really wanted to go to a diverse school. But in the beginning, like in September 2019, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was going to a HBCU, which is how a lot of seniors are. So if you're like this right now, I understand, but hold out. Let me tell you what happened with me. So I was pretty late with the whole college process. I know a lot of seniors will start touring towards the end of junior year or will tour colleges during their junior year. I hadn't toured any colleges. I hadn't really started trying to figure out or trying to apply to school. Like, I had no idea. It wasn't until my dual enrollment class and my dual enrollment teacher, our first essay we ever had to write was our college admissions essay. That's when I finally started really thinking about where I was going to be applying and obviously where this essay was going to go. So I would pull up my what's it called? It's gonna take me a minute because I really can't think of it. What is it called? It's the Common App. Jesus Christ. I would pull up my Common App to tell y'all every last school I applied to, but I don't feel like going through that trauma, so I'm not gonna do it. But I'm gonna try to recollect all the colleges I applied to. So obviously I was applying to a bunch of HBCUs. I applied to North Carolina A&T. I applied to Spelman, Howard, of course. Virginia State gave me a free application, so I applied to them as well. Hampton University, applied there. And as for the PWIs, I applied to William & Mary, JMU, James Madison University, George Mason. Do you see this? I don't know what that is. As far as I can remember, that's all the ones I applied to. Mind you, that ODU was not in there. And let me tell you why. This child FaceTiming me. Hello. Okay. Hold, please. So I don't remember what I was talking about. I was on the phone for like 45 minutes. I think I was starting to talk about why ODU wasn't on the list of schools I initially applied to. The reason was I hadn't really had much intel about the colleges around my area because I'm a first generation college student. I mean, my dad went to Virginia State, but he didn't finish. And then nobody else in my family that I really know has gone to college around here. It's not like any of the mainstream colleges in Virginia. So I really had no intel about colleges or anything like that, but from what I had learned about ODU from like seniors above me, like class 2019 that went, or people that literally just went to ODU to party, I didn't want to go to ODU for the simple fact that I would literally know maybe 45% of the people that went there, like no cap. I would definitely know a lot of the kids that went there, and a big part of me, for some reason, I couldn't really tell you why this was another big thing for me, but I really wanted to go somewhere where I didn't know anybody. I wanted to go somewhere where like maybe a couple people from my school or from Chesterfield County, which is the county I live in and the county I went to school in. Maybe like a few people went to the school, but not a lot. I wanted to go somewhere where I was meeting a whole new group of people and coming into a whole new way of life. I didn't want to go somewhere and I knew everybody already, which I don't know why that was such a big thing, but I was really headstrong on that. Like, I did not want to go somewhere that I would know everybody there, you know. I didn't know a lot about the 757 area, which is where ODU is located, but I did know I was going to know a lot of people going there, or a lot of people were going to be coming to ODU to party. Because I haven't really heard of ODU as a party school, but from what I was seeing on social media with like class of 2019 people that I was friends with or I was teammates with, they would go up there to get turned and whatnot. So I really wasn't interested in ODU whatsoever. But during the entire college process, for people that are seniors in high school right now, you will get emails from random colleges all over the nation telling you that you have a free application and that you'll be considered for scholarships if you apply. And ODU was one of those schools for me. They had continuously emailed me like month after month saying, you know, if you apply, they didn't give me a free application, I don't think. No, they didn't give me a free application, but they did say that if I applied, I would be considered for scholarships. But I didn't really want to go there, so I wasn't going to waste money on an application fee, because application fees are horrid. Like, you should not have to pay to apply, but you know, that's just my personal opinion. But I think the highest amount I ever paid to apply to a school was like $75, and I applied to like 9 or more schools, because I can't remember all of them. But anyways, so I did not want to go to ODU whatsoever. I wasn't even considering it. My battery's about to die. It's okay, I'll just do it till it turns off. So yeah, basically I had no interest in going to ODU whatsoever. So I just applied to all the schools I really wanted to go to or had any interest in going to. The only reason I applied to PWIs is because my parents had it in their head that I would get all the scholarship money. Oh, another school I applied to, obviously VCU. VCU is a local school. I didn't really want to go there because it was local, but yeah, I applied there too. But my parents wanted me to apply to PWIs because they really wanted me to get scholarship money from a predominantly white school. Because, you know, if you're black and you go to a predominantly white school, you might get scholarship money just for being a minority. You can get scholarship money for anything, but especially for being a minority, a black and a white, predominantly white school. Anyway, so my top school during the fall of 2019 was definitely Hampton University. I wanted to go there so bad, and the more research I did on it, the more YouTube videos I watched on students that went there, I was dead set on that school. But that school is $40K a year. Let me repeat that. $40K. Babe, it was already, like, I had it in my head that I was going to Hampton. I was telling people I was going to Hampton and all that, because I had got in and I got a little bit of scholarship money. Nothing significant. Like, when I say a little bit of scholarship money. And I had a dead set in my head that I was going to Hampton. But then eventually my parents, you know, told me they wouldn't be able to afford me going there. And of course I was sad, because I really was dead set on going to, the battery flashing is really making me anxious. But I was dead set on going there, but you know, I was really big on my parents being able to afford where I was going, because college is very expensive wherever you go, but there are cheaper options than others. So once Hampton was out the picture, when I tell you I didn't care where I went, I didn't care. Hampton was out the picture. Anything out of state was out of the picture, and I think the only out of state school that I applied to, no, I applied to Howard, North Carolina A&T, and Spelman. And Howard is considered out of state even though it's in DC, and DC is like pretty much right up the road. Spelman's obviously out of state because it's in Georgia, and North Carolina A&T is out of state because it's in North Carolina. So anything out of state, I didn't even get into Howard. We're not gonna talk about that. anything out of state we weren't considering. So that cut 3 down. And then my mom didn't really want me to go to Virginia State, and my dad didn't really care either way because he went to Virginia State, but he wasn't like, go to Virginia State, you know, like he didn't want me to be like a legacy kid or anything like that. He wasn't like dead set on that kind of thing. They wanted me to like try to get out of Richmond. So like Virginia State, I didn't apply to Union, but my dad didn't really want me to go there, or my mom, because they just wanted me to get out of Richmond. So that left a bunch of PWIs. Like I was left with a bunch of what I didn't want to go to. So that made me really sad. So when I realized that it was just a bunch of PWIs left, I didn't care. Like when it got to around the January, February mark, decision day, which is May 1st, getting closer and closer, I just didn't care. I just kept telling my parents, whatever is cheapest, I will go. Whatever is cheapest, I will go. And the only school that I really did not want to go to, but it was looking like the cheaper option, which scared me, was James Madison University. I didn't want to go there because it was out in the mountains. My family, like my mom's side of the family, is from that type of environment. Like they're from a little mountain town closer to like West Virginia. Hopefully that's right, I think. So I grew up around mountains. I grew up around that. I didn't want to go to college there, especially because to me it's in the middle of nowhere. I did end up touring JMU. It's very gorgeous. I did like the campus, and I loved the football stadium. I loved that they have a big football program, but I just wasn't interested in going there. I didn't like the location. I just didn't want to go at all. So I really didn't want to go there, but that was one of the cheaper options. So basically, by the time we started narrowing down options, I was left with George Mason and JMU. And what is funny, because my mom really wanted me to go to JMU, and my dad and my Nana, which is my dad's mom, they really wanted me to go to George Mason because we have a cousin that went there and everything. So I was left with 2 schools that I didn't want to go to, and I really didn't want to go to JMU, so it seemed like George Mason was my option. And they weren't the cheapest out of all of them, but they weren't the most expensive. Like they weren't $40K, you know, like Hampton. Ciao. Anyways, so at first I was going to George Mason. I hadn't sent in like the housing deposit or anything like that, but my mom had ordered shirts and everything saying, you know, we're going to George Mason. You're gonna go to George Mason. And this was around March. I remember this whole ordeal was going on when I just didn't care. I was really kind of depressed. I didn't really care where I went to school at this point, as long as it was cheap and affordable for my parents and whoever else was going to be helping out with paying for school. I didn't really care because I remember I was at home at this point. We had been quarantined. I had been out of school. So, but then ODU sends another email. Mind you, they have been sending me emails like month after month ever since, you know, application season was ever since it was application season. And they sent me another email saying you can still apply even though the deadline had been passed. You can still apply, you'll still be considered for scholarships. And though I really still had that mindset, I don't really want to go to ODU because of the reasons I stated previously, I started convincing myself like ODU, not only is it super diverse, I don't know how long this battery pack is gonna last because this one was the one that was dying yesterday when I filmed my first video, which you haven't seen. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's just me introducing the channel. You really don't have to go and watch it. But basically, I was about to go to George Mason, and then ODU had sent me this saying they would still consider me for scholarships if I applied. So I asked my mom, you know, I think I should go ahead and apply here. ODU is pretty cheap compared to all the other schools. From what I was looking at online, from previous tuition rates from previous years, it was really, really cheap. And so I asked my mom if I could apply. She was like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. And I did. It was like a $50 application fee. And I applied to ODU. And then like a week later I found out I got in, obviously. And I got a small scholarship. Now, I do feel like I would have gotten a lot more money if I applied at the same time I applied to all the other schools. But any scholarship money is good scholarship money. and ODU was already pretty cheap, so getting more money off was pretty good. I'm gonna try to get as much out before this dies. Y'all gonna see me, if it dies, it dies, oh well. So I applied to ODU, I got in, I got some scholarship money, and I was excited because out of ODU, George Mason, and James Madison, almost messed that up, I would go to ODU hands down. Despite all that other stuff I was thinking about it, I would much rather go to ODU than any of those other schools, and that's just how I personally felt. It was extremely diverse. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Not only is it super diverse, it's in between two HBCUs. Right before you get to ODU, you get to Hampton, which is where I wanted to go. And right after ODU, about 15 minutes away, is Norfolk State, which is another HBCU. So if I really wanted the HBCU experience, I could just go to their homecomings, or I could go to their parties, or I could go to their functions. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm down. And then I decided to go to that's why I chose to go to ODU. It wasn't my dream school. I didn't know anybody that had went there previously. It was merely because I was desperate. Moral of the story, it'll work out in the end. You'll find a school that you want to go to, or if you don't go to college, you'll make a way. You'll be successful one way or another. Everything will work out in your favor. So yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up choosing ODU. Like I said, it wasn't my dream school. It wasn't something that I knew about, or a school that I knew much about. All I knew is that people like to go there to get turned. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. That's how I ended up choosing to go there, and now I'm really excited. Like I said, we are going on campus. Obviously, we move in next week. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, or you cared anything about it, or your family or friends, and y'all just want to support me and give this video a thumbs up, you don't have to leave a comment. I can't imagine what you would comment. But if you want to, go ahead and make sure you subscribe, because I will be filming more college videos, especially after I move in and the day I do move in. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye. I don't even... You know what? It's whatever.